Welcome, everyone. Go ahead and grab a hammer and gather around the anvil as we do some soul forging today. Um, let's see. On a not so current event note, I'm pretty sure anybody who has access to electrical device, media, on their phone, on their TV, a laptop screen, is probably already well aware of a particular event that happened at the Oscars. Now, personally, I wouldn't have even known that the Oscars took place. It was a little more than a week ago. Um, and for those who are not in the know, um, in short, uh, Chris Rock, a well-known comedian, decided to make a brief jab or comment or joke at the wife of Will Smith, who's Jada Pickett Smith. And what followed that was Will Smith going on stage, delivering a slap to Chris Rock, and sitting back down, and to, I guess, sugarcoat what he said, or to shrink down what he said, censor what he said, was pretty much keep my wife's name out your mouth. Yes, there were some, four-letter words used there, but that's not. But the words he used is not the point. But the bigger issue is the action, and I'll comment on that. First, I'll give you my opinion of the whole event. I think it was staged. It's just I want to say between 80 to 90% sure that it's staged, and the reasons why, if you think about common human interaction, certain social cues and body language and things of that nature, things just didn't roll quite right with what I was seeing. I've watched it a few times. I've seen several different pictures, still pictures of the slap. I'm not saying that the slap was fake in the sense of the actual impact of it, but I do think it was very much so staged. The reasons why, well, when somebody approaches you seemingly hostile, which Will Smith approached Chris Rock on stage. Chris had his hands behind his back. That's not a very common stance to take. That's not a very common posture to have. It's like offering yourself up. He leans in for the slap. Now, if you think about the common interaction between somebody when things are about to get physical, leaning in is not something that people do. They either, if they are more on the fight, flight, or freeze, a person will only be leaning in to strike. At least in my opinion, I've never seen anybody lean in to accept the hit unless they knew the hit was coming. Let's see. So he leans in, gets a hit. There's no security, buzzing around. At least security and comments don't even begin to rise till about a day or two later. That this is Will Smith was approached, this and that, third for his assault on Chris. Okay. Chris's reaction was, didn't make sense. wow, dude, wow. That's what he says. He says, wow, dude. He makes a comment about how this is going to be the most memorable night in Oscar history. Something to that effect. Not those exact words, but something to that effect. That's a peculiar thing to say when someone's hit you. Is you immediately think about the show. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, a lot of these things that say that Will Smith's banned now, and and I think that's more so people just trying to cover the fact, trying to cover up for people's questioning of the events, the authenticity of the event. I mean, you are at the Oscars. Will Smith is a well-known actor. He's won awards for it. He's directed movies. He has. I mean, that's his career. It's not like he's a. I mean, yeah, he's a rapper, as well as an actor, but he wasn't, just hopping in on the acting scene. He's been. I think he was if memory serves correct, he was about to act. He was rapping and acting about the same time, So he's definitely seasoned. So if he hasn't won any awards, he's definitely been nominated for multiple. So, no signs of fines. Well, you get my point. My point is, I feel like it was staged to gather attention. No, not to mention, Chris Rock has upped his ticket prices the very next day, about $100 for his comedy shows. Yeah, the next day. Anyway, but that's not the most important point. I think the point of today, at least the dialogue I wanted to open up, is, what's already been opened up, was who was in the right, who was in the wrong, as that question is buzzed around for a while. And I know this video coming on pretty late because it's about a week and a half to 2 weeks late in comparison to when compared to the event, we'll call it, or incident rather. And the most common question was Will correct in defending his wife? I guess the second most common thought was Chris wrong in making those jokes, that kind of joke. Okay. So, I mean, I've already established that I think this whole thing is just, a charade. But it does bring up a moral, important, kind of moral kind of question that I'll give my 2 cents on, because hey, why not? Everybody's doing it. I mean, I'm not, monetizing this, so I mean, I'm just giving my opinion, just in hopes to share a thought and whatnot. So, all right. So let's go with, Chris Rock first. Was he wrong for making the joke that he made? He was invited on stage to play the part of a comedian. And comedy tends to bring up, faults, flaws of people in society and circumstance, and try to twist it into making it a more laughable, lightning tone. It does address, serious issues, but at times, but at the end of the day, it's meant to, bring joy to a situation. So I don't think he was wrong in making a small comment, because if you're present at one of these events, and you know a comedian is going to be there, and I'm pretty sure everybody knew, who was going to get up on stage and speak. There's typically an itinerary for these kind of things, and oftentimes when it comes to those big events, you have a little. If they don't have it in paper, they probably have access to it on their phone. But anyway, so everybody knew he was going to be there. Everybody knew he was going to joke. Everybody knew what type of jokes he would dish out. So I don't think he was in the wrong at all. He made a comment about Jada Pinkett Smith being in the sequel to G.I. Jane. It was just a comment, just a joke. I mean, it wasn't anything serious. He didn't call out her name. But just a little, a little jab. Okay. To get upset about that would be like me going to I know this is kind of dating myself, in the sense of like, revealing my age or whatnot, but that's like me going to, let's say, a D.L. Hughley comedy show, sitting in front row with this afro, and hoping that he would not pick me out, and, point out any and every little flaw he saw in my afro, in my beard, in the clothes I'm wearing. That. I mean, I knew what I was signing up for. Or at least, as an adult, I would be accountable for that. So, I don't think that Chris Rock was in the wrong for his comment. I don't think being a comedian, is oftentimes you have to put your sensitivity on the back burner. Because that's what people do. They say, think about it. Comedians get paid to say the things that other people just won't say, or haven't thought to say, or haven't. They typically have unique outlooks on life, but oftentimes, they're paid to say the things that other people are afraid to say, but they try to do it in a humorous way that so everybody can get a good laugh at the end of the day. But that's just my 2 cents on Chris's end, on Will Smith's end. In many ways, he's very motivational, very inspirational person. But I can't rock with him on this decision. It's like if we were to assume that it was all real, and was it 20 to 10% of the other side of my doubt. Let's just take that and say, that both people came out. I was like, yeah, I don't know, this is authentic and blah 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 blah, and was he right in doing what he did? The desire and the tenacity, I can give him credit for it in the sense that it's good to want to defend your wife. It's good to want to defend the name and honor of your wife and your family. But no, I can't side with him on this one. And I know that a lot of my friends and family, and a lot of people that I am acquainted with, applauded him standing up for his wife. And I'm like, well, no, I can't rock with you on that. And the reason why is because even though he's seen as as a man kind of protecting the honor of his wife, he also pretty much put himself in a bad position in doing so. Now, let's again, assuming all this is real and authentic, and the news that follows. There's talks about him getting sued, talks about him getting banned. He's so for right now is banned for the next 10 years from the Oscars. Whatever. But I mean, a lot of the comments I was hearing was, congratulating him. It's like, yeah, he's got his money, so he's good. He can, afford, any lawsuits, whatever comes his way. But that's not an act that should be followed. A lot of people feel like, well, he was displaying his manhood, and yeah, wouldn't you do it in that kind of case if there's somebody so you made that kind of comment? I mean, we had to play it by the situation. We had to play it by the situation, and you never know what kind of situation you're going to be in. But if we take this particular case, I don't think that responding in a very emotional way to something like this was the right move. The reason why is it puts you at risk. He would have, like, assuming it's authentic again, he would have put himself at risk, at much risk, at risk of being arrested, at risk of, let's say, if Chris Rock, like a lot of people were commenting, throughout the following week of, the incident, let's say if this was somebody else, and people were like subbing, Chris Rock for The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, or 50 Cent, or, some other big guy who's, or Mike Tyson, and that makes you, in this day and age, with social media and stuff like that, that just makes you a bigger target, and people are going to try to bait a reaction out of you because they know they can now, and the next, tough guy and whatnot would be like, we'll want to say something, see if you react to that too. And that would lead you into being easily manipulated because they know that you can react, and that they know that you could react in a physical way, and they could try to bait you into a trap. And so I think that a lot of, so, like, if we take another angle at it, or consideration, was some of the issues that Will and Jada have voiced over the past few years, considering their marriage situation. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but there was this kind of expectation from many of the ladies that have witnessed the incident or know about it that applaud his reaction. Well, one of the things you have to that I'll submit to you is that there are certain type of tests that that women do, whether they know it or not. In other circles, they have a name for this test. I'm going to censor it, change it up a little, call it a stress test, because they put their they put either a prospect or their man or whatnot through a test, either subconsciously, or maybe they're even aware of it. But they send their man through like a test to test their strength, test their mental fortitude. And some people insinuate that this was what Jada did when she looked at Will in a certain way after the comment that Chris made. This too can lead you to some very negative outcomes. I mean, let's say, like, a comment was talked about, taking it to the streets. If random guys like disrespecting your wife or whatnot, and your woman wants you to defend her, even in the physicality. If you're in the wrong setting, if you're not well aware of your situation, somebody can pull a tool and ventilate your chest, and that'll answer that stress test right there. I mean, like, it seems like I'm just making a cop out, but at the end of the day, like, if it were me, it would take more than a simple comment, to get me to physically get involved with somebody, in the sense of like trying to, knock their head off their shoulders, because the streets, things are very different. Nobody's gonna walk up on stage with a firearm, but you never know who's packing these days, to be honest. And my calling is to provide for my family, and I can't do that if I'm laying in a hospital bed or a pine box. I'm just being honest, just being real. It's not to say that I'm unable to fight, but fighting over comments and things of that nature, like in the physical, will land me in jail if I win, and land me in the ER or worse if I lose. And I would not encourage, the ladies to voluntarily put their man in that kind of position, for him to pretty much throw himself to the winds of chance and see what happens. And then, you might, if he comes out on top, he'll be congratulated, and that seems good and all. But if things end poorly, you could gamble your man's health away. You can gamble your method of provision away if you rely on him to provide for you. So, but yeah, I think that's all I had to say on this whole fiasco. Probably shouldn't use that word because I can't really spell it. At least not yet. I'm gonna look it up after this video. But anyway, I hope this finds, hope some of these words find a home in your thoughts for just a little bit. Consideration of a different perspective. And anyway, I do hope that you have a wonderful, blessed day, week. I'll try to put out more videos. to share my thoughts. Again, like I said in the beginning, I want to be honest and open as best I can, and just hopefully help form a better you and a better me. I'll so we can be more effective to our Father in heaven. But anyway, 4 John.